I'm so glad to be here, and I thank the onset IT for calling me for this August gathering. So 20 years back, I could never imagine the field what I've chosen, the fertility field, has so much potential as now. Indeed, today from morning I've been hearing all the solvers talking so much great about our country, India. Isn't it a proud moment? And it's amazing to know that fertility has so much promising future for us. So with all this, I too started thinking, why is everybody focusing on our country? Is there something, what's happening? So then the answer what I found was this, India. It is the place for fertility space in future. So exactly why is this? We know that India is a very thickly populated country. At one end, we have lot of people. But how are we different from other countries is we have highest young population in our population. And then to the other side, if you see, there is decline in the fertility rate. This was a paper I got it from, published in the Times of India just recently, 26th September 2022. Here it says 20% of fertility is declining in 10 years. So now we have thick population here to treat. And then we have lot of childless couple to serve. What about, how are we different from other country is, the highest surge of parenthood is there in our country. Wherever we go, you would have seen in our clinics, most of the time, even we get lot of patients, most of the time they are like, desperate to have a child. They get married, they ask us like this, "Aapka shaadi kab hua?" Okay, 2 years back, "Bacche kitne hain?" This is a very, very common trend still in our country. The importance of child is so much, it is it's called as the highest satisfaction for our people here. Then where are we heading to? The cultural changes, the demographic changes, if you see, there is lot of sedentary working. There is lot of obesity. There is lot of PCOS. And if you see about, Talwar sir just quoted about male infertility. What is happening in male infertility? It's not addressed. There is epidemic of male infertility. So then, what does this all lead to? Why is our country now the focus in fertility space? That is because, what do we have at present in our current state of fertility India? If you see, we have childless couple. Lots, not few, plenty. When I was hearing a debate in the morning, there is a debate between a single chain and a single center and a chain of center. We don't have to compare anybody. End of the day, every doctor and every team just sees this couple just like that and make sure they go with the baby. That's enough. We have plenty of patients to cover. So there is a lot of things to be done in this space. And then what else we have in our country now? The new ART law 2021. Everybody has been talking about the law. But then end of the day, what is it? It's not the physiology. It's come here to stay. We all have to adapt. We have to immediately, the earlier we adapt to this, our life becomes better. Instead of just teasing it and finding out what is wrong, what is right. Of course, there are forums where we can express and get it changed, but we can't challenge it at present. This is the law of the land. We need to follow and we need to abide by it. Next, what is it? We have been hearing about lot of advances. Where are we going to? Proteomics, genomics, transcriptomics, everything is there. And then there is also, we see about technology. If you see, there is lot of, even three-parent, baby we are seeing, three-parent baby. And artificial intelligence incorporating in our day-to-day practice. And then what about technique? Gene editing is also now their technique. And of course, we also see lot of investors eyeing, in our country and giving us, hand-holding us and taking this journey forward to help our childless couple achieve parenthood. So all this is there. But end of the day, to get all this in perspective, in our day-to-day routine practice, what is important? It's all there. whatever is there, it should be practiced. It has to be percolated to our society and it should be adapted in our culture. Who are that force which binds all these touch points? What are the force? Let me get into it. So, who are the binding force? We have the fertility experts and embryologists who are the engines of the growth story. So, very, very important. This is the topic of my talk today. So, here is a clinician who sits with the patients. Very, very important. Until she adapts to the changes, you know, we know that there is lot of advances, but adapting to the changes and going forward is the journey. And of course, nothing can be done without our dear embryologists. Last but not the least, I can't forget my team. See, whatever said, we are in a room talking to our patients and embryologists are in the lab. But what about the whole system? It has to be having a good culture to treat our patient. Operation team also plays a very, very important role. These are the people who helps us to take all our advances, our education, our law forward and make sure this pregnant patient is justified. So, now the roles of and responsibility of a clinician has changed a lot, changed dramatically. Initially, I myself, I was just sitting in my room, just seeing childless couple giving treatment. But now I understood so many things happening. I have to multitask. All clinician has to adapt to the changes. There is no other way. Initially what we used to do, our idea as a clinician is to give best success to the childless couple. That is our primary importance, giving best success. But now it is becoming the very beginning. It is a starting point now. What else a clinician has to do? We also know we have patients who doesn't fit, one size doesn't fit all. Versatility of patient. How is the health industry different from a food industry? You say food industry, there comes KFC, there comes McDonald's, they give one some formula and then the formula is there and they can have chains and chains of center. But in fertility, it's not like that. It is a doctor-driven, fertility. So very, very important, especially when it comes to patient, one size doesn't fit all. Every patient is different. Then the role of a clinician is also adapting to the advanced technology. Couple of months back, I got one patient. He comes to me and says, "Doc, I have a strong genes of diabetic in my family. I don't want my progeny to have this. What do you want to do?" And he comes with the answer himself. He knows there is something called as PGTP, polygenetic risk scoring. According to that score, there is a technology where we can negate that genes. So are we doing justifying to our patients? Important is to adapt to the changes, very, very important. So because of this PGTP, even I learned just 3 months back. It's so important to, adapt ourselves. And then next is, of course, with all is the law. Law provides a structure. End of the day, how was our life without law? How will be our life with law? Initially, anything happens, there is teething problem. But then we have to have a structure. Anybody views us from above, okay, what practice we have in India? At least they have started something. Maybe when they have started, there are some gray areas. In matter of time, things will settle and all of us will have to follow some structure and it will be more organized way of the way we deal to the situation. Then of course, as Sir has elaborated on the awareness creation, clinician role is just not giving pregnancy. We also know that prevention is better than cure. Even before fertility hits our patient, we are here to create awareness to our childless couple, especially the demographic change, what we are seeing about women empowerment. Thanks to the day, but still we should also make women understand that, she is getting married at late 30s now. What about the window period of fertility? She has lost. So very, very important to create awareness, as Sir has also, this is one of the example. So we do, clinician have a role to create awareness. Next, what is it? Of course, including all these also, ethics, transparency, everything is very important. And of course, all this should be in affordable range. We should make sure we should not use all the technology for one patient. who needs what is also judgmental by a clinician. And then again, training our support staff, very important. Most of the time, example, I do my embryo transfer, I go, I tell the patient don't take rest, I just go, but then she talks to one of the sisters there and she is sleeping for continuously 6 months. So very, very important is to train our support staff as well. Then next is what about clinician, what about embryologists, the another engine for this growth story. Initially when we used to select embryologist, his job profile was what? We used to just ask them, how much pregnancy do you give? He used to tell like, yeah, I'm giving good decent pregnancy, but that doesn't end. Now it's the beginning. We see that primarily important is pregnancy rate, but that he should also be aware of data collection. We need to know how many embryos are there, how many embryos are frozen. So this is another requirement of an embryologist. And then of course, embryologists should know when to do basic IVF, when to do ICSI, and when to do a blastomere biopsy. So they have to have lot of advancement in their knowledge. And these people play a very, very important role. They handle the gametes outside the body. What about the witness system? Any center which is credible is very, very important, because credibility of the center is the need of the day now. So important about adapting embryologists to this witness system. I know there will be a cultural change in the working environment. They have to have more time to do ICSI, but then this is important. And then taking responsibility. If something goes wrong in the lab, I was hearing Hinduja madam talking about her story, so much inspiring it was, the way she has gone from scratch and she has done. Now what happens if some problem in the embryology lab, who is the one who is accountable for it? Embryologists should be more ready with the alarm system, need to know what's happening in the lab. And then of course, lot of mushrooming IVF centers we are seeing now. That is because initially I was wondering, every now and then there is IVF centers coming up, people are inaugurating. But then when I was deep diving into the situation, that is because infertility rates have become high and we have a lot of patients to cover. So we have a lot of center mushrooming, but what about embryologists? Sometime in our periphery, we see one embryologist covers 4 centers, he keeps running. So what about availability of embryologists? This is the need of the hour, is to have a good school of embryology who can train them with all these and then get them ready for this growth journey, because he just need not give only pregnancy rates. He has to do so many work. So a good embryology school is the need of the day. So now here next is, who are the enablers? Everything is there. What are those 5 things which can get all this into perspective and get this into our day-to-day routine practice? The first enabler is a software. We all have some kind of software, but how easily trainable to our, support staff? It should be very, very trainable. It should be affordable. So all the centers which are mushrooming should have a software so that patient treatment improves from the time they come into the center, then inpatient, outpatient, scan, and they should have a decent discharge summary, how many embryos they have. So these all matter so much in our practice. The second enabler is, of course, the witness system, very, very important. It is there, but how many centers are using the witness system? It is only manual now. It should be made more available to every center so that credibility of our country becomes better and people from outside start viewing that, okay, India, there is lot of credibility. And then of course, the embryology school, which I have already enforced. And also ART law has given importance to counselors. See, in the Western world, doctor does a job, but what about counselors in our country? They just have to be trained properly, systematically they have to be trained. And I do agree, now we have lot of bodies in our country, ISAR, IFS, ACE, and even state bodies which are trying to give so much of knowledge and update all of us. So maybe in couple of years later, I will be standing here again and we can talk very lightly that ART law it's easy, we have done, we have crossed it. We have got all this in place. India is a better future for fertility people and everything is done. So this is what I think hopefully we'll be doing in next coming years. So I end my session with this slide. Future, where are we heading to? When I see this ectogenesis, a woman is not required anymore. Uterus, forget, dur ki baat. Babies can be, cultured here in a lab. Where are we heading to? When I see this, I also relate, or the past, if you just go back to your heritage, I started with my country and I am ending with my country. You see this Gandhari, to fight, Pandavas, at one stretch, she had 100 kids. She already had ectogenesis with her in place. This is our country, Mera Bharat Mahan. So I feel life is like a circle. Thank you so much.